What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be taking a look at the top 5 best moon placements you can have in Synastry. So, let's get into it. Now, when I was giving it thought to like, okay, what placement should I list? I honestly felt like not even making this video, but really just giving an overview of the moon in general. But I actually sat with myself and I said, no, there are some that are more favorable than others. And the reason I was feeling this way is because this is what you really need to know. The moon is so sensitive, and the moon is really what makes us all our unique selves. Okay? It is not, the sun is what you see, and the sun is what comes easy. The moon is who you've been. It is closely, I call it the container for the soul. All right? It's our habits, our instincts, and what just makes us feel complete. But what you'll find here is that everyone is going to require something different. So I want to make this disclaimer. I'm going to list a couple house placements that are really good, but understand that based on who you are within your own chart, what other energies you may have is going to create a different outcome. So I said in the previous video, the moon in the 12th house isn't really a good placement. But if the person has particular energies, that can work much better than it will for someone else. So just keep that in mind, that although I'm saying these are really good placements, for others, it might not be. And I'll give a little insight as to why. Okay? So, the first aspect, and for all the relationships that I've seen, done readings for that have been very long term, 10 years plus, and even if they aren't together, they're still friends or whatever you want to call it, is the sun conjunct moon. Pardon me. The sun in aspect towards the moon. So really, we're going to say the sun conjunct moon or the sun trine moon, with more emphasis towards the conjunction, because the conjunction is just a more powerful aspect. It, particularly in synastry, it's about cohesion and synergy and merging. Okay, so what happens when the sun conjuncts the moon is that you just have a mutual affinity for one another, a respect. Each person is able to admire those particular qualities of the person, and ultimately they just feel, it's almost like how opposites complete one another. The people with sun moon contacts just feel like, yeah, like this person is actually not what I need, but who I would want to be if I was, someone else. They're able, and this works even more for the moon person. So what happens is that the sun person embodies to a T a majority of who the moon person knows they are internally. Okay, so let's say we have Leos. We have a Leo moon and a sun in Leo. The Leo moon person may secretly want to be very dynamic and magnetic, creative, being able to creatively express itself, but for whatever reasons in their chart, they're just unable to really outwardly express that. More than likely, the sun person is someone who embodies all of it, and they're really able to gain confidence. So the rays of the sun shines upon the moon person and helps them tap into that particular energy a lot more. So it's very harmonious. And I think looking at this, so for anybody, look at your moon sign and just think about the things that you lack. And when you come across someone else who embodies that, study them a little bit, right? But overall, whether this is romantic or just platonic, there is appreciation and harmony. Even if they're Mercury square one another, and they disagree a lot, right? There's always this thing where it's like, I appreciate you. Even though you see things differently, I respect you enough to keep things at a certain level. So, like I said, even if it was romantic and people aren't together anymore, they're still able to remain friends. So, a very, very good aspect for the moon. The next conjunction I will list is the moon conjunct Venus. And this goes well because when moon and Venus come together, even within a person's own chart, these are people who value keeping the peace. So moon and Venus coming together, even if the people have argumentative energies within their own charts, together they won't necessarily feel the need to argue, or something they will argue about to someone else, they kind of just know how to easily compromise. So Venus being harmony, being balance, it makes the moon feel secure. It makes the moon at ease. And then in terms of just a relationship and doing things together, they like the same things. One person's able to learn from the next, introduce them to new things, get them out their comfort zone, things of that nature. So overall harmony, you'll find this aspect with a lot of best friends and just couples that really, really admire one another and actually do a lot of things together. So it's great for just experiencing loads of different things, having your security needs met, and it's a pretty peaceful combo. Not a lot of drama, even if it's like in a fiery sign or something like that. Okay? And then I would definitely say moon in aspect towards Jupiter, whether it be a conjunction, whether it be a trine, sextile, and to some extent the square as well. The square isn't always all bad. Remember, in Synastry, you need some squares in order to grow. So what the moon coming in contact with Jupiter does is that it allows the people involved to expand on their energies that are involved. Okay? So if a person is really affectionate, and they say the moon person is really affectionate, coming in contact with a Jupiter person allows them to be even more affectionate. Jupiter is very receptive, okay? Always remember with Jupiter and Saturn, Saturn restricts, Jupiter expands. So it's like, yeah, more and more. More of this, more love. Oh, you're adventurous? Let's find an adventure. So it's a very spontaneous one. I'll give you another hint as to why this works. Think about the sign in which Jupiter is exalted in. All right. So yeah, there's a lot that the individuals can learn from one another. Right. And oftentimes you'll see this as a karmic connection where the individuals were really good to one another in a past life and they continue to be good to one another. On the square aspect is also could show in the sense of, let's say this person has a fixed moon. The Jupiter person opposes that fixed nature of them and forces them to see things differently, okay? Or is able to impart wisdom onto them easier than other people would. One negative I would say to this is that, say these are both like Neptunian type people and they have their own issues with like escapism, they can definitely encourage that behavior within one another. And just, overall, like, give me more, give me more. These people like to do it big, but more times than not, it's good. So now, moving on to house placements. So first one I'll say is the moon in the fourth. The moon in the fourth, double-edged sword, but overall good, because you just feel, it's like once you meet someone whose moon is in your fourth house, you're not getting rid of them. They become family, okay? Whether it is a friend, a romantic partner, there is just someone that you feel close with and that you're able to emotionally open up to. The moon person will play that motherly role or nurturing role towards the house person, and the house person is just like, yeah, I feel comfortable around you, I feel secure. So regardless of what happens, it's just a very binding contact. A downside to it, and why I said it's like a double-edged sword, and then this is where you have to look at your own moon and how you are emotionally. So it's activating this part. So say this is a Scorpio moon, or you have a Scorpio fourth house, and someone's Scorpio moon comes in there. This is bringing intense emotional happenings into your connection. So all that good stuff that I said before is still present, but it's this air of like, when you get mad at this person, you really get mad at them. Something they do is gonna bother you a lot more than if someone else did it, okay? So depending on your own emotional nature, this can work really, really well, or it can just drive you freaking crazy. And then the next thing I would say, a lot of times, if there's not like a strong Mars Pluto contact between the people, it's like it could create a scenario. It's like, dang, I like this person, but the passion is missing. And a lot of times that'll be indicative of a past life in which you were literally like family. You know what I'm saying? So overall, it is a good, the moon rules the fourth, so it's a good position based on that alone. But you got to look into it a little bit more. And then this is kind of like 2 in 1, okay? And that's why I said it's going to really vary for individuals. The moon in the third is really, really good, because you know how they always say communication is key in relationships? It is. So you can have, like, and I've seen this, 2 people have their sun squaring one another, or their sun and their moon squaring another. So they have a lot of differences. They see things differently. But the ability to communicate those differences or what they dislike helps them find common ground. Okay? It also creates stimulation. If you really think about it, right, with any of your close friends or whatever, you're continuously able to learn from them and share things that you find interesting, even little tidbits, right? So, you know, you have some couples out there who one person might be really intellectual and not into like pop media and things like that, and the other person is, and this is a part of themselves they don't share with the other person, because they're like, oh, they don't like that. But when the moon comes into the third, you share everything. You're just like, oh, check this out, isn't this interesting? It has a Gemini theme to it. It creates this air of like friendship, okay, and just all around stimulation. And it's also an adventurous one too. So I find that to be, but like I said, if you're a person who has like Gemini placements, Libra placements, a strong ass Mercury, this is going to be really important for you. But I feel like overall, just that is great for the moon because it's stimulating the moon and it's allowing the moon to express itself. Okay? And then lastly, like I said, it's kind of like 2-in-1. Moon in the second. Moon in the second is really nice because the moon is driven by security. And this is, the second house is a house of security, possessions, our values, all of that. However, let's say the house person, someone's moon comes into someone's second house, and that house person has like Venus in their second house, or their second house is ruled by like Scorpio. It can create scenarios where the person feels possessive, like you're my property, or like I don't want to share you with anyone else. And then where the moon person benefits is through the house person and the security they provide. But think about it in the sense of like, while a lot of our grandparents stayed together, like one party didn't have enough finances or ability to take care of themselves, so they stayed complacent with the house individual. So it can create, it's one where it's like, if security means a lot to you, you'll definitely be able to benefit from the house person. But at the same time, there's a sacrifice, so the house person feels like, yeah, like because I'm giving you all of this, I want to exert a certain level of control. But it is good for longevity. It is, if both people have good second houses and the composite is good, this can provide the ability to build wealth and things of that nature. Kind of have that luxurious home life. These are people with really nice homes and nice things in it. Stuff like that. Alright? But keep in mind what I said. It's really going to vary. It's really going to vary on how it goes. So this is just my take on the top 5, aka top 6 best placements for the moon in Synastry. Feel free to chime in. Let me know your experiences. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you can do so now. If you need a reading, holla at me. Till next time, peace.